If I lost everything tomorrow, I'm talking no money, no clients, no social media following, no website, no group of referral or warm market folks, I still know exactly how I would go get 3 to 8 high paying clients this month using just a Google Doc. And in this video, I'm going to show you the exact method that I have used and I would use so that you can get the same result and just go get clients. Because the truth is, you don't need a fancy funnel or a bunch of expensive automation tools or sexy AI to help you get clients in 2025. Now, I will say at the 7-figure mark, I'm using all of those things and I'm very grateful for them. But when you're just starting out, you don't need any of it. And I would know, because between 2023 and 2025, today, I went from completely burnt out coach, crying on my bathroom floor, feeling so burnt out, and in 75K of credit card debt, to now being the leader of a 7-figure coaching organization, Dream Life Consulting, where we help coaches, consultants, and experts build their businesses from the ground up. And I will admit, there was more that went into that transformation than just one Google Doc, but this tiny little tweak made all of the difference in my sales process. Because I was dead in the water in 2023, crying on my bathroom floor. I had burnt out on all of the bro marketing, just hit the numbers game and hustle, and that just led me to adrenal fatigue, overwhelm, and weight gain. And then I went into the more feminine side of things and I invested in masterminds and networking and in-person events that told me to just trust my intuition and lead with ease. But that just got me into a bunch of overhead and credit card debt. And so after these years of investing in myself and hustling and feeling like nothing works for me, in 2023, I hit the absolute rock bottom of my career. I literally couldn't afford groceries. Groceries, you guys. Not ads, not another course, not some business coach. I had no money at all. I wasn't even looking for marketing solutions. I was just looking how to literally feed my family. And all that changed when I realized how easy it could be to reposition myself with a free Google Doc and a $10 Loom subscription. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a clear path from 0 assets to 5+ clients in just a couple of months or even less. Here we are in the Google Doc, and this is the process. Number 1, market research, AKA, where's my money at? So when I was starting this, and before I knew that this would actually work, I just got on a Zoom call with 8 people who I thought would be potentially ideal clients. I looked at masterminds that I was in, people that I had talked to or networked with in the past, people who were in my coaching certification, just looking around my warm market and thinking who fits my ideal client avatar that I already know and I can easily reach out to. And I did this not to sell, but just to listen. And I simply asked questions and I watched how they spoke. I wasn't just listening to their words, but their energy and their body language. And I really paid attention to what frustrated them, what they had tried in the past, and what they actually wanted. And what I learned is that they didn't just want more coaching or one-on-one Zoom sessions. They didn't want more content, because at the time I was running an agency where we were doing copywriting and marketing done for coaches. And they didn't want that. And they also didn't want just another course and someone who was going to give them templates. What they wanted was a solution. They wanted strategy. They wanted results and basically a guarantee that it was going to work for them and not waste a bunch of time. So for you, coach, pop quiz. Where does money come from for coaches? Because that's what I kept hearing. They wanted results, money, cash. And the answer is not webinars or email or cute Instagram pictures, even though I've tried all of those things and I'm guilty of thinking that that was going to solve my problems, just having more noise and more volume out on the World Wide Web. But the truth is, money comes from real people with real problems that they will pay to solve. Every sale starts with a conversation, not an Instagram post. The bigger the problem that you're able to solve, first identify and then understand and then be able to position yourself as a solution for, the more people will pay you. So the bigger the problem you can solve, the more people will pay you money because the solution will be bigger. And so that's exactly why we have to start with market research. Every first step is talking to real humans. Every business is a relationship business. You don't need a funnel. You don't need to be spending hours in Canva or optimizing your website or thinking about the next book you're going to self-publish. Those things do not guarantee clients, not even 2025. I'm talking about genuine conversations. And just like me, you just need to send a couple of emails or LinkedIn DMs to people that you know are in your niche. Or if you really feel like you're staring at a blank screen and you have no idea who you would even ask to a market research call, then phone a friend or family member who knows people who know people. Who do you know who is one of the most powerful questions for sales and lead generation. Who do you know who? If you really don't have a list of people, or you can't pull up your LinkedIn profile, or you can't look back on past discovery calls or networking calls that you've had, then phone a friend to ask, who do you know who? And what your ultimate goal is to simply book a 20 to 40 minute conversation via your calendar. And do it quick, right? Success loves speed. And so getting people booked in your calendar just over the next 5 days. Again, I only talked to 8. And look, I know market research doesn't sound sexy. It might even sound hard and heavy and like you don't know what to do. But it will position you head and shoulders above the crowd of people who are sitting in their Canva templates and trying to just throw spaghetti on the social media sites like, well, Tom, Dick, and Harry like this, or will this go viral, or will this newsletter get them? Those people aren't listening. And so if you are someone who actually listens to the market, then you are going to be able to position yourself in a much more profitable way. And honestly, being a detective is fun because going on these market research calls, you don't have to have all of the answers. You just have to ask questions. And asking questions leads to massive breakthroughs. You know this if you have, a coaching background. And so you're just going to ask questions that are going to help you perfect your client avatar. Because we all know we need to know who our ideal client is. And, back in the day, they used to teach me, figure out exactly who she is all the way down to what color nail polish she wears. But the truth is that kind of game, that kind of ideal client avatar game is way more complicated than it really needs to be. You just need to ask them direct questions like, what's keeping you up at night? What are you worried about? 6 months from now, what do you hope is resolved? Okay, then what have you already tried to fix that yourself? Why are you still struggling with it? Okay, why didn't those things you tried work? Why didn't that diet work? Why didn't Ozempic work? Why didn't Slim Fast work, right? If you're a health coach, you can ask those kinds of questions about what they've tried and why it didn't work. For a career coach, right, you might ask, okay, why did LinkedIn resume rewrites didn't work for you? Why didn't pitching everyone on the planet work for you? Why didn't, whatever, like we have different niches, but I think you get the point. And then one of my favorite questions is, what would a win look like for you? And how would you measure it? Because so many of our coaches are, mindset or spiritual, and they think that they have some intangible thing that they offer. But the market will tell you what the tangible thing is that they will actually pay for, because less and less people are willing to pay for accountability or for performance or for mindset because A, they think robots can do it for themselves, and B, it's not concrete enough, especially in this trust and financial recession. So just ask them straight up, how would you measure it? What would success look like to you? And I used to call this my Where's My Money tour. I'm going to tell you more about that later, but this really is just business 101 and finding money, finding clients, which again, most people are not willing to do. And I blame the marketing gurus for feeding us this dharma that you have to have this big social media following and more content and more spaghetti we just keep throwing at the refrigerator without ever actually getting clients or getting paid. So this was my Where's My Money tour because I stopped doing the social media spaghetti spray and just started getting paid. But for now, you just need to know that this isn't the place that you're actually going to pitch people yet. Again, you're just in the detective market research mode. And so for the sake of integrity, all I want you to do is listen to what they have to say. Listen. And be on the lookout for these 3 things. Number 1, what is their dream outcome? Number 2, what have they already tried? And number 3, what is their pain? Because once you understand what people want, you can position yourself as different than what they've already tried and sell the solution to their pain. And then we get to break out the big guns, aka Google Docs, right? Which is also kind of like a pitch. So I didn't build an offer. I didn't have sexy slides and some pitch deck. I literally just reflected back to people in a Google document like this. And I said, here's what I heard you say. Here's what we've built based on this. Here's the solution, or what we now call our San Francisco Bridge. Here's what it looks like. Here are the pillars of my San Francisco Bridge. And here's how to implement. And I recorded it via Loom and I sent it to those 8 people. And I got 5 immediate yeses. And I'm going to show you. It was like immediate yeses. I have some screenshots down below. And it did not require a sales call. It did not require hard pitching or handling objections or trying to convince people that they should hire me. I also definitely was not getting rebuttals like, well, I don't need that. Could I pay you hourly? Or could we make some backyard deal? It was literally just, where do I pay? And this is the part that literally changed my life. Instead of spending months building a funnel, I really just opened up a Google Doc that I now call a manifesto. Remember, at the time, I was just looking for the most efficient way to get clients. And so now it's hindsight that this has become a system that we're scaling and works for dozens of our clients. But other folks might call this like a video sales letter, a VSL. Okay. And it's literally just a Google Doc, not a sales page, not a brochure, not a request for proposal, pitch deck thing that you spray and pray someone's going to magically open up and think, yeah, I'll give this person my credit card, right? Hope is not a strategy. And that's what I learned in trying to do all of those sexy, shiny things. It's really just hoping someone will like it instead of knowing it's exactly what they will buy. So this is a story-driven document that's packed with pictures and social proof to position myself and my story as the expert, as that solution, not as just another coach with a 10-week program or talking about how many one-on-ones I'm going to offer you. It provides a play-by-play walkthrough of how I solve the pain and problem the people in my market are facing. That way, you can show people exactly how you get them results. And you won't be positioned as some other, oh, this is just another boot camp. Or again, you won't be comparable to other coach commodities or AI solutions. They can't compare you to other things because you have positioned yourself as a solution that's different than everything else that they've tried. So you need to just answer 5 questions in your Google Doc. Number 1, what problem do you solve? Use their exact words. How did they describe their pain, their problem, their frustrations, the thing that keeps them up at night? Number 2, why do those other things not work? So if you're a leadership coach and people have said, we've tried hiring outside people, we've tried taking retreats, we've tried delegating this to other companies. Okay, why did all of those things not work? Show them the breakdown. Show them why, of course, that was never going to work for you, right? On the health side, it's like, of course, Ozempic is never going to work for you. Like, here's the science. Then what is your process or solution? Walk them pillar by pillar or, 3 to 5 steps of that San Francisco Bridge of how they get from point A to point B. How does it work? What are the building blocks? How am I actually going to see this transformation? Then present results. How has this changed your life? How have other people seen results from this? Show proof. And then create a reason why. Why is now the right time to act? Why can't they try another fad diet? Why can't they keep delegating blindly? Create some urgency. Now, I want to remind you, this is not a lead magnet, and you don't need some sexy quiz. You don't need fancy graphics, and you should not be spending billions on producing this or marketing it as some like big TV kind of level thing. I see so many people investing in videographers and social media managers and all of this overhead that is not essential. You literally just need your brain in a Google document that explains everything you do and why it matters. So for a quick side note, this is still important, but have you ever heard of the show Undercover Billionaire? I caught it once when I was visiting my parents in the States. It's on Discovery. And in it, a real-time billionaire, Glenn Stearns, took a challenge to start from scratch and build a $1 million business in 90 days. Glenn has $100, an old truck, and his brain to build a business for people he knows nothing about. One of his favorite catchphrases that you hear him say throughout the series is, "Where's my money?" He says it while he's looking for jobs to work. Where's my money? He says it while he's brainstorming solutions. Where's the money here? And while he's looking for business opportunities, who has my money? Where is the money? Who has my money? And this is a question that you should be asking right now, because it will help you stop focusing on distractions like optimizing your website, or another 45 minutes goes into an Instagram reel that a few, right, Tom, Dick, and Harry, random people on the internet see, but it never converts, right? This is the same thing with changing your website and figuring out your brand palette in Canva. All of that is distractions and noise. Again, we've been sold a lie. That's not what converts. What converts is really narrowing down on where the money is. What I mean, in the nicest way possible, because I wish I had gotten this advice in the past, and this is why I record these videos. You need to stop trying to speak to everyone and quit being so busy with a bunch of fluffy stuff, and instead start looking at people who feel the pain that only you can solve. Because if you are here, you and I both know that you were given gifts and you have a purpose and a mission, and you are here to help people. But the more time that you spend trying to be a marketer, trying to go viral on TikTok, the more you're giving away your gifts in the wrong places. You're just spinning your wheels and burning out. We need you to be back on purpose, yes, asking where the money is, and thinking about helping real people. So when you talk to people, pay attention to what they hate doing, what's costing them time or money, and what they wish someone could just come and solve already. Another question that I ask is like, if you just had a magic wand for this, what would happen? What would it look like? What would you receive? And that's the kind of energy that I put into our offers, is because I want to make sure that it does feel like, oh my gosh, this is finally what I've been looking for. Because when you listen to the market and you write down what they're actually feeling and experiencing and thinking, you're able to highlight the phrases that they keep using. And that is your gold mine. Again, just like a sidebar on the content creation side, how many times have I spent, a run or a swim or a bike ride thinking about what caption I'm going to write, or thinking about what newsletter I'm going to do in my head with my precious energy, when the market would have just told me that on a Zoom call during work hours, and I just wouldn't even have to spend so much time in my head trying to figure it out. So you can literally go get the data from the market this week. Find the pain that's pushing them to want a solution or be open to help, and then just reflect it back to them in a way that they feel like, oh my God, are you in my brain? All right, this is copywriting 101 that most coaches either overlook or don't think they want to do, but it makes everything so much easier. And this is where trust gets built. This is when the right people lean in. This is when you become magnetic and you, again, can't be compared to other people. And this is when your Google Doc becomes your sales machine. Not because of your ego, not because you're cute, not because you think you are the best, but because you actually have a way to position yourself. Your Google Doc starts doing the selling and positioning for you. So I did it. I wrote a single Google Doc. It was 32 pages long. This is a screenshot of it. You can go click the link below and watch exactly what I've been using since 2024 to convert almost 1 million in sales. By the time you watch this video, it'll probably be more than 1 million in sales. And we still only have like 1,000 views on this. So in 2024, I worked on this Google document and then I rehearsed it in my bathrobe, right? This was evergreen. I could be in my pajamas practicing it. I wasn't worried about all of the tech for my webinar, because when you do something live, there's a lot more stress that comes with showing up live. But I took my time, I practiced in my PJs, I practiced with my dog, and eventually in May 2024, I recorded myself just talking through the entire document with Loom, which is like a $10 per month subscription, if I remember correctly. So once that was done, I shared it with 20 people and asked them what they thought. And you want to know something crazy? Do you know what happened after I shared that with a few people? It worked immediately. So this is what I mean. In the 20 people, so I initially interviewed 8 folks. They gave me the data to then create my Google Doc, and then I sent it to 12 more people. So in total, I had touch points with just 20 folks. And most people that we work with know 20 folks in your niche. And for us, 5 of them got back asking how they could pay. Literally, there was no sales call, there was no objection handling, there was no pitch, anything. I just started getting these emails. I just finished watching your video. As a lifelong marketing guy, your message resonated with me, right? They were eating it up. Let's do it. How soon can we start? I suddenly had real clients, not just referrals that I had separately priced at basement level prices or people that I had to keep DMing who were thinking about it. There was one person in 2023 that I had followed up with 17 times. Like, it was embarrassing. Every time I would go to the follow-up email, I'd be like, oh my God, I already sent this 15 times. But you know how it is. They string you along and you feel like you could help them. And these were my only prospects. And so I stopped that whole long sales cycle. I'm going to think about it, or I'm going to take it to the board. I just had real clients ready to pay, respecting me, appreciating my process, and paying me exactly what I was worth. My website was completely outdated at this point, you guys. This wasn't because I did some beautiful launch or I looked really good on the internet. In fact, I was on a sabbatical for social media at this point. And so I was not creating more lead magnets or freebies or Instagram posts. I even stopped writing Forbes articles. I was just telling them exactly what I did, and they were getting on board. It almost didn't feel real because as 2024 went on, the wins just kept coming. Right? So in these 14 days, I had 17 qualified client applications. And I was just amazed. I wasn't hosting those live events. I wasn't dealing with tech. I wasn't paying for ads. And I was also not dealing with freebie hoarders. I just kept getting people on board. Even through the holiday season, we had pay in full and new clients starting between December 24th and January 1st. And they just kept coming while I was living my life. As you can see here, I'm shopping and celebrating. I'm getting my hair done because I just had a 24K day that ended up being 72K in just 16 days because this video was doing all of the selling for me. Not new reels, not new showing up live, just having people watch this evergreen Loom video. Much like, here we are. This is what brings us here today, right? So there is more work if you want this to be sustainable, because if anyone tells you you're just one video away from buying an island, right? You're just one funnel away. Obviously, that is not a sustainable long-term thing that you can count on, right? As business owners, we do have to think about sustainability and making this rinse and repeat. And the cool thing about having things that are evergreen is that you just get to keep making it better. You're not throwing spaghetti like, does this work? Does this work? You already know what works, and you just get to do more of it. So we kept building this as we go. We didn't wait for the perfect product, but we kept co-creating. We kept listening. And again, now when I did this, it had only been 500,000. Now we've doubled that again with the same Google Doc. It is linked below the video that we are still using today. But the truth is, people change and offers change and clients change, and you will evolve. And that's a good thing. So this also means that your Google Doc is going to evolve with you. That's why I create more videos every single week, because I have more to share every single week. So you don't have to freak out. This is not about having a big YouTube channel or posting every single week. You do not need to rewrite the doc every time. It's just about redefining, right? Adding new lingo, new ideas, social proof screenshots. As you collect more, you're gonna want to refine and add more, like as you're getting client results or as you're having more ahas. So it's kind of like A/B testing, if you're familiar with the marketing lingo. or like this is the more fun version of throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks, is because you actually know which noodles and which wall to be on, right? It's not completely random, but you're like finessing. It's actually more about like adding the sauce and the seasonings and making it even more even more potent. So this is what I do. If I hear someone repeatedly say, oh my God, that's exactly how I feel, right? So for me, a lot of people were really resonating with the fact that I was 75K in credit card debt thanks to bad advice about delegating, thanks to investing in masterminds and networking and all of these fluffy things that they sell coaches for like $20,000. Okay, people really resonated with that. So that stayed. But then if parts of it seem confusing, or if you're getting feedback that people are like, I don't really understand what you meant by, evergreen sales assets. Okay, well then let's tweak that phrasing. This is when the manifesto word came to life, because I did hear from people, I don't know what you mean by evergreen educational sales assets. And so now I named it the manifesto, and I can explain it, and it's more memorable for people. Coining phrases, that's also something that you get to do along the way. You don't have to sit at home and just think, what's the cute thing I should call my unique mechanism, or what should my course name be? Like, even those things, the market will tell you if you are humble enough to listen. So every time you do this, and the more you keep listening, you get sharper, your messaging gets stronger, and your Google Doc becomes even more magnetic. This is like the law of attraction in marketing, because you are putting out your story, your vibe, and people resonate and are drawn to you. So I've been using these Google Docs for 2 years now, and it's basically my clone, right? It's out there doing the sales for me 24/7. Guys, I recorded our manifesto 14 months ago. I have made $1 million. I could never say that about a webinar, right? It would not keep paying me over a year later. So it's out there doing a lot of heavy lifting that I no longer have to do around marketing and content and promoting and tech, because when viewers get to the video, they get all of their questions answered. They're not DMing me about this and that and emailing me follow-ups. It just really presents everything that they need to know about our process. How does it work? And that's what all consumers want to know if they're going to buy something that's a little bit intangible, like coaching. So that way, my sales team, or the person doing the enrolling, the closer, can just show up and answer questions about the program, about actually working together. So we're not using discovery calls to give away free coaching, and we're not defending ourselves on like battly bro sales calls. We're really just having adult conversations with people who are pre-educated, pre-qualified, and ready to get started because of this manifesto. And it's getting to this level of transparency and authenticity that shows you're different. You're not like all of these other people who just are good marketers. You're actually a good expert and coach and someone that they want to hire. And by the way, BT dubs, I am not the only person that this system has worked for. It's actually a huge part of what we teach clients to do every single day, so that someone like Leslie can be charging $8,000 for NLP hypnosis coaching. And Angela, who's in the Middle East, can charge $4,000 for identity coaching. Caitlin is a mindset coach for educational entrepreneurs, and she's charging $6,000 for 6 months when she used to charge $60 per hour. Sonia, confidence coach. Again, these offers in the Middle East, it is a very awkward. Like, people don't talk about coaching in these regions, and yet we have clients consistently enrolling folks who definitely don't talk about these topics publicly. So this, again, it can't just come from spamming content, but it works in multiple languages, because even Manu, who's a career coach for Spanish speakers, is enrolling clients at $10,000 for 6 months. So if you just think, oh, this just works for Hannah because she used to live in California and she has all of this privilege, I want you to know that this also works for people who don't have experience or who haven't been able to get a new client in years, like Phil, who's actually Canadian and is now enrolling people at the $30,000 price point, where he wasn't having new clients in 2 years. And Amanda, she's a weight loss coach who's able to charge $5K for 3 months. I mean, I could go on and on about the kind of results that we get folks because we're able to position them with a Google document differently than all of the other noise that people are being bombarded with online. So, if you have made it this far, you probably have a lot more questions for me. Like, how long does it take to make this? How do I start today? Like, what do I need? What's the template? And what if I don't even know if what I want to offer? What if I want to reposition myself and maybe I'm falling out of love with coaching and I just don't even know who I am anymore? Like that identity crisis I was definitely feeling when I was crying on my bathroom floor about 75K in credit card debt and wondering, do I even want to keep going with this? Because most of you are also at the end of the day wondering, will this actually work? How is it guaranteed? Because all coaches are unique unicorns and you have such interesting life experience and these tool sets that you have built over a wealth of your career. And so what I want you to do if you have any of those questions is just click the link below and watch this video. This is a screenshot from a few months ago, but this is how I gained those clients and walks you exactly through our San Francisco bridge, or more specifically, our CEO system for client acquisition. So you can see the full thing for yourself. And yeah, spoiler alert, this is our manifesto. So continue to watch me lead by example, click the link below, and get to implementing. Cheers to growth.